Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you can see, I'm at home. I have my little home workout set up behind me and I'm going to be bringing you through my core workout routine and basically all the things I've learned since I started training versus now, and the things I've changed when it comes to training my abs and just my overall core. I feel like I'm not alone when I say abs were one of the first things I started training when I was younger. I remember being like 17 years old in my childhood bedroom at home and just like blasting out ab workouts at home before I ever really learned how to do it correctly. And since then, I'm now 26, I have learned so much more about training and training your core, and so many things have changed over the years. So my point of today's video is to bring you through everything I've learned and show you an ab workout, of course, bring you through a full core workout and basically tell you why I changed how I train my core. So when we think about training core, a lot of us think of the main ab muscles at the front, which are called the rectus abdominis. These are the ones that lie right at the front, like the six pack. But a lot of the time, people forget about the deep core muscles, and these are so important. These are muscles that I really do prioritize when it comes to training my core, and something I want to teach you a little about today. So as I mentioned, the rectus abdominis are right across the front, but in your deep core we have the transverse abdominis. So these are the deepest core muscles that wrap around to your spine and really give us some spinal stability. We also have the diaphragm and we have the pelvic floor. A lot of times when we go to train abs, people do neglect these muscles, and boy have I learned how important they are and how important it is to target these muscles, not just for functionality now, but also for later in life. So let's rewind a few years and bring it back to when I started introducing deep core work and why I introduced it in the first place. So if you've been here for a while, guys, you would know that I had a nasty back injury a few years back, maybe like 3.5 years ago, I think it started. And I was in a lot of pain. I had like partially crushed a disc in my lower back. I was so depressed that I couldn't train. I was in consistent pain. And I do remember a time when I thought I would never be able to lift and train the way I wanted to, like ever again. But thankfully, fast forward like 3-4 years, I'm back, I'm lifting, and I'm feeling healthier than ever. When I got that injury, I really had to peel back lifting in the gym and change how I train and learn how my body works. So I was going to different specialists, and one of the specialists that I was going to at the time introduced some deep core work. And I am honestly so glad that that happened now. Even though the injury was terrible, I learned so much about my deep core and how important it is to train it and get it strong and control it. So even though I don't have that injury anymore, it's like 95% healed, I would say. I still have these deep core exercises in my workout plan, and honestly, they have improved not just my core stability, but my compound lifts as well in the gym, and just like my overall back health has drastically improved since I started incorporating them. So I would say the biggest change that's happened to me when it comes to training my core is that I engage both my deep core muscles and like my regular rectus abdominis now too. Whereas before, when I was younger and when I was training abs, it was very much like just crunches and training the ab muscles that were visible instead of the ones that are actually probably more important, the deeper ones. Even if you don't lift, having strong, deep core muscles will completely change your life when it comes to your posture, your stability, and your overall back health, which I've learned through injuries. Like, it is just so important. I remember at the time when I started including these exercises in my plan, I thought they were too easy. They weren't like the hardcore ab workouts that I was used to. I was like, these aren't going to work. They're not going to be effective. And why was I wrong? Just because they look easy doesn't mean that they're not effective. You're probably not going to burn as many calories or like be pouring sweat like you would after, you know, a more intense abs workout, but these definitely do work. Some people just obsess over the deep core and don't target the other muscles, whereas I think if you really want a well-rounded core routine, you want to be targeting all of the muscles, even the smaller ones at the back. Also, guys, I'm sure I don't have to say it. I feel like everybody already knows that if you're watching this video to get more visible abs, then these workouts are great, but where the true magic happens is in the kitchen. It's with your diet. Abs are made in the kitchen, and it's just something that I think we all know by this stage. You can train them as hard as you want, but you need to make sure your body fat is at a percentage where you can have visible abs, and that is done through a calorie deficit, it's done through your diet, and it's done through being consistent and being patient. But regardless of having visible abs, these workouts will help you with your overall core strength, which will help with your other lifts in the gym. It'll help you with your posture, and it'll help you with longevity. So regardless, these workouts are for everyone. Also, for the girls watching this video, your deep core and your pelvic floor are so closely connected. And I feel like I don't need to say it twice how important it is to be able to control and engage with your pelvic floor. I don't have kids yet, but when I do, I'm sure that, you know, the exercises I'm doing now will really help pre and post birth. So that is another reason that I prioritize it. Okay, so I'm going to bring you through one of the workouts now. This is very similar to what you'd find on my coaching app. And this is very similar to the style workouts that I prescribe to my clients as well. As I mentioned, when I'm training abs, I want to train the rectus abdominis, the obliques, and also the deep core. I feel like you're ticking all the boxes if you're targeting your full core. 3 words that I want you to think of when you're training your deep core are controlled, slow, breath work. Your breathing is so important when it comes to engaging your deep core muscles. So I'm going to bring you through ways that I breathe before I go into my core workouts to make sure that I'm engaging the muscles, and you really want to practice the mind to muscle connection. You don't want to rush through any of these movements. So if this is one of your first times trying to train your deep core, then please be patient with yourself. It can be hard to engage with the muscles if you've never tried it before. It'll take practice and patience like any other type of training. But I'm going to start off by doing some breath work first, and then we're going to get into the workout. Okay, so 2 things I want you to focus on here are your breathing and making sure that your back is flat with the mat for this full workout. I actually do have an anterior pelvic tilt. I have quite a large dip in my lower back naturally, so this is something that I really do need to focus on when I'm doing my ab workouts. When it comes to your breathing, one thing we want to avoid is sucking in. We don't want to suck in to get our back flat against the mat. You want to focus on engaging the muscles to press it towards the floor. So one thing that I imagine is a string between my belly button and my spine. So you really want to pull your belly button towards your spine when you're breathing out. And when you're breathing in, I want you to focus on really flaring your rib cage and getting lots of air in your diaphragm. This is just to warm us up and just get us in the zone for connecting with these muscles. So we're going to breathe in and out through your mouth and focus on pushing your belly button towards the floor. And it should be nice and flat and tight against that mat. So you can take as many breaths as you need to practice that. It's all about the mind-muscle connection, and it's all about slow, controlled movements so that we can really engage those muscles. So I have the workout ready. I'm going to get into it now. So we're starting off with some glute bridges, and one bit of advice for this, guys, is when you're on the way back down, obviously we're going to start by pulling our core towards the mat, pulling your back flat against the mat. When you go up and when you're coming back down, you want to almost roll your back down against the mat instead of just coming straight down and hitting your glutes first. You want to roll your spine down to make sure that your back is nice and flat against the mat. So we're going to get into it now. We're going to start off with 15 reps of these glute bridges, nice and slow and controlled. So for this one, guys, we're going to really focus on our breathing again. This one looks like a simple exercise, but if it's done correctly, it is very challenging. So if you're a beginner and if you don't feel ready to go up on your toes yet, you can just get on all fours. We don't want any curve in our lower back. We want to breathe in and really hold our core nice and tight and keep your back straight. So if you want to bring this up a notch, you can get on your toes and just almost float. Have your knees floating just above the mat and hold for 5 to 10 seconds, just like this. And we're going to do that for 5 reps.